Hello there and welcome. We're going to spend another day going through some of my rejected cat toy patterns here from my little notebook. We're going to work on this little banana today. I'll show you how I make this and explain, I guess, why I don't like it. But maybe you will. The things you'll need to make a little banana with me today are a couple of colors of worsted weight yarn and a 4mm or G crochet hook, some yarn needles, and some stuffing of your choice and some optional catnip. So let's get started. We've got our stem color to start, our worsted weight yarn. We're going to make a magic circle, crossing over as if you're about to make a slip knot. We'll go through the front and chain 2, and that'll give us our little magic circle. And from there we're going to single crochet 6 stitches into our circle. This is going to be the very top of the stem of our banana. Oops. Once we have all 6, we'll pull our tail there, that little short end of yarn that we're not working with. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. We got one more. Okay, so we've got those 6 stitches on there. We're going to pull, and then you can see we've got that little Pac-Man shape. We'll go into the top of our very first stitch that we made in that circle, and we'll slip stitch the first stitch and the last stitch together. So we've got that first circle, our first round 2 for our little banana. We'll be making 6 single crochets again, but this time working into the back loop only. So we're just going through the back leg of the top of those stitches. You can kind of see that little V shape there. We're grabbing just the back for all 6 of these stitches. Once we finish this one, we're going to change color, so the rest of our stem will be in our banana color. Maybe like green bananas, or maybe you just don't have any yellow yarn and you want to use a green yarn, that's okay. We got one more to go. Taking the back loop only. And then before I slip stitch to join them, I'm going to change to that yellow color. So I'm going to tie it on, keeping my knots on the inside. Depending on what you're making, you don't always have to knot the yarn to change colors, but in a cat toy, I like everything to be as secure as possible, especially because all those little tails will just stay on the inside. So we can cut away that stem color for now. We won't need it until the very end of our banana. So just like we did at that last end of that last round, we're finding that very first stitch. And we're going to slip stitch, keeping our stitches as tight as we can and keep anything from coming out of the toy. So for the next 2 rounds, we're just doing a single crochet in each stitch. So we'll have 6 single crochets at the end. So we slip stitch, we chain 1, and we're going to go around and do a single crochet in each stitch. We'll do that twice. You can go ahead and pause if you need to. I'm gonna pause too and finish up those next 2 rounds, and I'll see you for round 5. Okay, round 5 for this little banana. We are going to increase a little bit. So we slip stitch, we chained 1 on the end of round 4. We're going to have 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch we are going to single crochet 2 stitches into that same spot. So we're going to go, let's see, 1 and 2 in that next spot. Again, working into that same stitch. Oh, we're going to repeat that one last time. So we go 1 and 2, and this last one, that takes us to the end around 5. We've got round 6 coming up here. And this one's also going to be an increase round. It's going to be just a tiny bit different. You should have 9 stitches right now. For this next one, we're going to go 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and in the next stitch we are going to single crochet 3 into that spot. So we're going 1 back into that same spot for 2 and squeezing back in there a third time for that third stitch. We're repeating this pattern all the way to the end of this round. So we're going 1, just a single, and then 3 in the next one. 1, 2, and again going into that same spot. So keep going all the way around there. When we get to the end of this round, we will end up with a little spot where we only have 2 stitches left. And that last spot, we're going to increase only, hold on, well, let's all just get there together, I guess. So we're going 1 and 3. So now we've got that spare stitch, and instead of just doing 1, we are going to increase one more time, but just 2 in the last stitch. So 1, 2, and that'll bring us up to 18 stitches. Oh, pretty much for most of the rest of the banana, we're going to be staying at 18 stitches, even though we'll be switching around a little bit. So for round 7, it's just the plain single crochet in each stitch. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then for round 8, it's the same. Round 9, things get a little different. So we'll go ahead, go do 7 and 8, just a single crochet in each stitch. You should have 18 stitches, and I'll meet you back for round 9 altogether. Okay, we're back for round 9. This one is going to be a little different. It is going to add a little shape to our banana. So for round 9, we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we're grabbing, let's see if I turn it here, if you can see, we're grabbing just the front loops of the first 2 stitches there. So we're going in, and then in the next one, just in those 2 front loops, we're going to wrap our yarn, pull through there, pull through those 2 on the hook. We're going to do that again, just the 2 front loops, and right there. And from here we are going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. And the next 4 stitches will have a little increase. So we're going to go 1, and then again in that same stitch, 2, and right next door we're going to do the same thing, 1 and 2 into that same spot, and again, and one more single crochet 2, okay, and the next 3 we have plain old single crochets. So we're going 1 and 2, one more, okay, and then we've got a decrease, so we're single crocheting 2 together, and one more time we'll single crochet 2 together. Oops, and we're going into that first stitch to slip stitch to join. We'll chain 1. So every odd round from now until round 15 is going to be exactly what we just did. Every even round is going to be just a single crochet in each stitch. So as you're going around, you should always just still have 18 stitches. So for the next one, we'll do just a plain, so every even row, just a plain single crochet one in every stitch. And then in the odd, we'll repeat what we just did for round 9. So we'll finish our plain single crochet round, and for round 11, we'll do it together one more time. And then we can alternate on our own, and then we can meet back after that. But I will see you in just a moment for round 11. Okay, so for round 11, we're doing that same repeat, just showing you one more time so you can keep going on your own. We're going to single crochet 2 together for the first 2 stitches. And the next 2, single crochet 2 together. Then 3 plain single crochets. And once you have those 3 plain single crochets, we've got 4 single crochet 2s going into the same spot twice. All that means, so we got 2 more here. 1, and again going into that same spot. Last increase. Okay, so we finished our 4 increases there. We've got 3 plain single crochet. And then we've got those last 2 decreases. There we go. Front loop of the 2 stitches you want to single crochet together. Wrap that yarn, pull it through there, wrap, pull through those 2. And one more time. Just the front loops. And then we find that very first stitch in the round, slip stitch to join them, chain 1, and I think we've got enough of a toy now that we can tuck the tails in just to keep them out of the way. And then for the next round, it is an even round, so round 12 is even. So again, we're going to keep going. Round 16 will be the last of this little repeat, so every odd is the round we just did. Every even is a plain single crochet round. And we'll keep going, and I'll meet you back here when we hit round 17. Okay, we made it through round 16. Round 17, we're going to start by single crocheting 2 together. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So that'll be 3 single crochet 2 togethers. 1 more. Oops, I accidentally crocheted my cords in there with it. And then from here, we've got 6 plain old single crochets. 1, 2 more. 6, there we go. And we're going to single crochet 2 together. For the next 3. Okay, 1 more decrease here. Now we're going to slip stitch into that first one. We'll chain 1. It's a good time to start adding any catnip that you might want to put in there, some stuffing if you have it. And then for round 18, it's just a plain single crochet, 1 in each stitch. So go ahead and do 1 more plain round here, add your stuffing and meet me back here for round 19. Okay, we've got another decrease here. This one's going to be nice and simple. We are doing single crochets 2 together all the way around. First one, always a little bit tougher to get into. It's a good sign that your stitches are as tight as you want them. So I've got my stuffing in there now. Just decreasing all the way around. Taking the front loop. You can see them there, just the front loop of those 2 stitches. Wrap, pull up, wrap, pull through those 2. We're going to keep going till we get to the end. When we get to the end of this round, we'll have just 6 stitches here for our banana. Before we slip stitch, we'll be changing back to that stem color, whatever stem color you started with. And I will meet you there. So keep decreasing, and then we've got one last row to go. Okay, we're going to tie that stem color back on, keeping the knots toward the inside of the toy, inside of the stitches. I can snip off the yellow. I'm just going to double knot that, and then keeping our working end of our yarn kind of out of the way there, we'll take our tails and we're going to tuck them inside the toy. If they're too long for you to get all the way in there without them sticking out or being in your way, you can always trim them back a little. I'm just getting them to a point where we don't have to worry about them anymore. They're just in there. We don't have to weave them in. They're just tucked inside. So now that we have changed our colors, we can do that little slip stitch. This is our very last round for this toy, so we're going to chain 1, and then we're single crocheting each stitch across the top. That's going to leave us back with just 6 stitches. We're being careful not to catch the stitches across from us. Going in, wrap that yarn. There we go, keep going. Once we get to the end, we'll slip stitch the round closed. It's our last one here. Okay, we're going into that first stitch, slip stitch that together. Now we're going to cut off like a medium length tail there. We don't want it to be too short. Cloudy here today. Hopefully you guys can see okay. We'll wrap that to pull through just to knot that off. And then we'll take our yarn needle and thread that on there. We're going to weave through the top and we'll pull that closed. Okay, so we've got that yarn needle. We've threaded our tail on there. We're going in and out of those first 2 stitches. Same with the next couple. And oops, I lost the tail. Let's see if I can thread this back on there without taking the needle out. Oh, lucky. Okay, so we're going in, and then we're going to pull just to close up that hole, and just coming through anywhere really that you can grab that's not going to leave like a big lump where the knot is. And I go ahead and send that yarn needle through there and just go back through the loop to tie it off. I'm making that as tight as possible, and then any place where you think the angle is going to help that knot sit flat, we'll send that tail on through. We'll give it a little pull to get it as tight as we can. And now we've got that tail through the body of the toy. We're going to snip off the extra because we put a little tension on there. When we give it a squish, that tail will just disappear inside. We have our little banana. So why don't I like this one? Why is this one a rejected pattern? I feel like there's no real reason. I just don't like it. It is bigger, but it's like a good size to be a kicker for your cat, if your cat's like that sort of thing. I think it's just so nondescript, and it's plain enough. It's not terribly difficult to put together, so it's not like a time-consuming one necessarily. I just, for whatever reason, I don't like it. Maybe you do, so maybe you've got yourself a little banana now. Maybe your cat will like it. Feel free to give it a shot, give it to them, see what they think. Anyway, thanks for joining me. We'll have at least 1 or 2 more weeks of rejected patterns. We are waiting on some pattern testers to come through with notes for me on my next little pattern collection for you guys. But for now, enjoy your banana. Thanks for joining me. Bye.